Yeah, keep it simple. Drop a rock into the water, watch it ripple. Tides turn quick, just keep your head on a swivel. Competition getting stiff, I'm here to make you wiggle. You know me, surround your whole town, make you yell siege. All-star, homie, this the king's speech. You can lock it down, we gon' still preach. Boy, preach. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Boy, you already know I'm the real wonder. Boy, I bring a storm, you gonna feel thunder. So your body count is up there with killmongers. How about you come take a look at some real numbers? Might just double up on you while I still slumber. I'm the living proof, I'm just coming through for the thrill of it. Room full of all-stars, we all guys. Somebody gotta be Zeus, I'll take charge. Fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Positive, negative, I'll take charge and shake eyes, remain great while I pay homage. They always said that pressure can make diamonds, so keep climbing all the way up, that's where you'll find me. Right next to the legends, I go off my brethren. Said goodbye to the old me, I'ma make sure that you know me. After this here you gon' owe me. Didn't choose a game, it chose me. You know what G-O means to an OG, let's go. Fight, who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Yeah, get your back off the wall. Come on, yeah, come one, yeah, come on. Get up, yeah, get your back off the wall. Come on, yeah, come one, yeah, come on.
Welcome back, everybody, for the second series tonight of Friday night, week 2 of the summer 2020 split. My name is Everyday. With me is Yulwei and Vinnie. We have 𝗲𝗏 taking on the Saigon Buffalo. What do you think about this one, guys?
𝗲𝗏 number one fan.
Yeah, all right. Much closer than you would have thought coming into the start of the split. But we have seen we've seen all right gameplay out of Saigon, but they fell short against OPG, and 𝗲𝗏 looked pretty good, like in some cases really good against Flash. Their second game against Flash, like, Glory was camped to hell, and the rest of the team actually picked up the slack. And yeah, we saw great performance out of Lisa on Leona. We saw 𝗵𝗏𝗆 almost on a return to the form you'd expect after a pretty shocking last split. Meanwhile, Buffalo, yeah, we've seen a revitalized roster, but there's still, lacking certain cohesion and map movements and making very big throws.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway from one series. And even though they lost to OPG, and OPG is probably not the greatest team, they should have won that series if not for the very big overextension into the Nexus turret. So I feel like SGB is actually on track, right? And not in terms of results, of course, but in terms of performance. But I want to go to 𝗲𝗏 really quickly as well, because they showed a very interesting series against Flash, where their early games actually didn't look too great. They fell behind in early games. They were very late on a lot of early map movements, where Flash just got to the objective earlier, and then 𝗲𝗏 didn't really know what to do. They didn't really trade on the other side of the map and just gave up 1,000 gold, 2,000 gold here and there. But the good part about 𝗲𝗏 is their teamfight coordination and how insanely strong they are in teamfights overall. Target calling, how to start fights, when to pull the trigger and go in for a pick. So I felt like everything that had to do with mid game and late game fights was very crisp, very clean, very nice cohesion. But the early game was a little bit iffy. And your favorite player, of course, Glory, played a very strange role in their first series, in my opinion, because he actually played weak side mid lane, something I haven't seen too much. But he had almost no pressure to his lane and just tried to farm it out and then be a carry in the late game, while the side lanes were the main pressure points for 𝗲𝗏's jungler and overall 𝗲𝗏's playstyle.
Yeah, it's kind of like So, I mean, obviously it's a huge step up, but make this comparison, but it's kind of like Faker in sort of 2015, where Bengi would basically ignore mid lane, and Faker would just absorb all the pressure by himself. And it's,
I don't know if it's fair to compare
not
Faker to someone who's good at Glory.
yeah, it's not quite this on the same level, obviously, but it's a similar sort of situation. And of course, touching on the sort of not so good early game, we haven't seen everything 𝗲𝗏 has to offer, because they can always bring out 𝗬𝗂𝗃, and he should make a very good. And as from what we've seen, he's a much more early game focused jungler than what Eagle provides.
Yeah,
who is a much more vision tracking oriented.
He's called
jungler.
𝗲𝗏𝗃 now, by the way.
Yeah.
So if he comes out, don't be confused by calling him 𝗬𝗃𝗃. He's called 𝗲𝗏𝗃 now, honestly.
Is he? Because on the official stuff, he's 𝗬𝗃𝗃.
He changed back after a bunch of the official stuff was done. It's a
can he choose?
Let's also
𝗬𝗃𝗃's
take a look at SGB. Yeah, I agree. I'll also take a quick look at SGB. I think 𝗲𝗏 is the more interesting team to follow, but SGB still has a lot going for them. And the number one thing is just one word. It's 𝗲𝗏. 𝗲𝗏 is incredible.
No,
𝗲𝗏 is... yeah, I mean, Froggy's there. But yeah, I felt like 𝗲𝗏 played incredibly well, even in their loss. We gave him some MVP points, even in losses. He's one of the few players to get those. And SGB also looked super strong in teamfights. So I'm actually very keen to watch teamfights in this series, where both teams should be. This should be the strong suit for either team. And we they might just this might just come down to very, very exciting mid and late game team fights. But 𝗲𝗲𝗿 against 𝗀𝗏𝗏 is kind of our matchup to watch, even though they are in different lanes. Can 𝗲𝗲𝗿 carry harder in top lane, or can 𝗀𝗏𝗏 carry harder from mid lane? This is these are the two most important players.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. It's an interesting.
No, go
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I think it's worth mentioning, in a way, like just to sort of similar narrative that the junglers have, in that they both sort of are having a sort of resurgence where if Eagle's in, he was 𝗕𝗂𝗃, I believe, way back when.
Indeed,
and he didn't look as great back then. Now he looks solid. He looks a lot better than he did. And 𝗕𝗂𝗃 compared to last split looks I mean, the same thing. 𝗕𝗂𝗃 compared to last split. It might not be hard, but he looks a lot better. He looks a lot more like the sort of 𝗕𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗏 𝗕𝗂𝗃 rather than dashing buffalo. And
Indeed.
Yeah.
we're seeing he is 𝗬𝗲𝗏 now. God damn it. Oh well. So 𝗬𝗲𝗏.
Let's see if he actually is going to see play today.
Yeah, we'll see if he's in. It's not really.
No, it's not really likely.
Nothing if Eagle's all.
Do you ever see 𝗲𝗏𝗏 coming in over 𝗕𝗂𝗃?
Very unlikely.
I would not.
I feel
so.
Yeah, I feel like 𝗕𝗂𝗃 has to seriously underperform. And this is another lane we can focus on from a very different standpoint, because 𝗲𝗲𝗿 and 𝗲𝗲𝗿 are the stats, the players to watch out for the highlight plays. But the bot lane for 𝗬𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗏 looked pretty rough in the first series, and especially also only played one iteration of bot lane where he played different champs, but Style went for 3 Senna games in a row, and Senna is a very specific bot lane champ. So what I am looking forward for this 𝗬𝗏𝗵𝗏𝗏 series is definitely a different bot lane. I want to see Style on a hard carry champion. I want to see if the bot lane can actually live in the 2v2 and not always feed, because they hinted quite a little bit. So yeah, this is something to look out for. And on the other side, 𝗕𝗂𝗃, in my opinion, in lane didn't do much. But the team fighting was crisp, and he provided all the damage his team needed in team fights. No, the enemy team played. Yeah, they played 𝗬𝗲. That's right.
They played the game.
That was very forgettable. That game was very forgettable.
That was a very weird 𝗬𝗲 game.
That was a very bad 𝗬𝗲.
That was
very bad.
Yeah, the bot lane overall seemed to be a little bit oblivious to dives and other dangerous situations where they just stay under turret for no reason whatsoever. Maybe the communication team-wide is just not there yet. It's a very new team, of course, talking about 𝗬𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗏𝗏s here, where Style and Hin just stay under turret, level 4, and then the dive comes in with 4 members, and they just both die. And they could have backed off, maybe given up 1 minion wave, and would have been fine there. So, especially in the 𝗬𝗲 game, this happened twice early on, and put them in such a big disadvantage that even though top lane was strong with 𝗊 against 𝗊 on the hands of 𝗲𝗲𝗿, couldn't really do much. So I hope they can improve their map reading and communication of missing players across the map.
Yeah, and if you look to their sort of success in the Pulse Cup, which admittedly did have a bunch of weird rules and not quite fully rosters. Saigon Buffalo put a lot of effort into getting a good winning matchup for Style and pushing and like focusing jungle attention down there. Whereas in their games so far, they've seemed to be playing a lot through 𝗲𝗲𝗿. Well, I think they don't necessarily need to. They can sort of what 𝗏𝗏𝗿 does with 𝗀𝗏𝗏, leave 𝗲𝗲𝗿 to make to get his own advantages and just shore up that bot lane and make sure that bot lane gets going. Because we've seen Style on characters like Caitlyn, and he's popped off on those.
Yeah,
So,
I would really like to see that too. Just play a bot lane focused draft and let 𝗲𝗲𝗿 have a carry, but he likes to play a lot of late game teamfight carries, right? He's a ВCS god. He can play a 𝗂𝗏𝗏. So those champions don't really need attention in the early game. So I definitely echo your point where just put him on a champ that is safe in top lane. He would probably get an advantage over YT. just from 1v1, because even though he gave up a solo kill into Vin last time around they played in the second game, I think, the third game on Akali, right?
One of them.
He still had a 30 CS advantage, so he's an incredibly strong laner, even without attention. So I definitely feel like you should play him on a mage, a late game scaling mage or assassin that just chills in lane, gets an advantage, and maybe if he sets up the minion wave correctly, you can go for one gank, but don't put too much attention into top lane, and instead try to help your rookie bot lane, make them be a stable part of your team to just move into your strongest point as a team, while just team fighting in the mid game and the late game, and let 𝗲𝗲 and style shine.
Right, boys, I'm sorry to cut off the good analysis. There's been a great back and forth. I'm sure you even forgot I was here. But we are just going to throw out to a short pause. No, we're going to throw out to a short pause until Champ Select starts. We just have to fix a few tech issues and the like. We'll be back soon. I do apologize. Don't worry, we'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. We do apologize for the little bit of a delay there. We had some internet issues and the like, but we've got it all sorted out, and we are in. Few highlights of things we've missed. Fiddlesticks banned, 𝗲𝗵𝗶𝗃, and 𝗬𝗲𝗏 is in. Take it away, boys.
There we go. And we have two comps that have seen some play already. We've Percent going for the 𝗲𝗲 and Graves combination. We've seen time and time again. Hasn't really worked out too well. And then 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗄 going for 𝗏𝗏𝗏, which was OPG's #1 composition to run. A lot of single targets to see. Very strong bot lane 2v2. So I'm excited to see what they can do with this composition.
And I'm slightly upset that we're probably going to be seeing Glory on 𝗲𝗏. But
no.
we have 𝗬𝗏𝗏 in. He's on the Graves. We'll see if this duo can put in the work. Meanwhile, we have a Ezreal lock-in for 𝗵𝗏𝗏. So, and we're gonna have 2 marksmen in the jungle with the Kindred.
And 𝗬𝗏𝗏's first game on Kindred was incredible. He played a very good Kindred, and Kindred is way underplayed in my opinion. They are a very good champion. Of course, both Wolf and Lamb.
Kind and Red.
I want to see more Kindred. I also feel like already they have a very good kite here with a lot of CC, a lot of slows, and good resets on Bard and Kindred. So let's see if they can build a full-on squishy kite and run composition for 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗄. I would like some Akali here to have cycling pressure as well.
I do really want to see this. Oh no, I wanted to see a Yuumi ban out of there because we've seen the Leona ban, which is good because Lisa has performed on that, but his Thresh looked really bad. So being able to sort of force him onto that sort of pick would be really good for the Buffalo. But
you think it's mid lane 𝗲𝗏? Might just be bot lane 𝗲𝗏 again, honestly.
I mean, it could be considering they're up against an Ashe Bard, so you might want to try and match that sort of
blind
pressure.
Wukong. Oh.
You might want to match that pressure.
Smash the Hecarim.
I don't know if YT is a Hecarim player though.
YT strikes me more as a Mordekaiser player. Yeah, there we go.
There it is.
He is.
So it could be the I mean, the Bard is also a takeaway from Lisa. It is one of his better champions.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and there's going to be the Yuumi. Okay, so
it's really going to be mid lane 𝗲𝗏 for Glory. That's such a waste of talent.
It's very upsetting. But hopefully, 𝗬𝗏𝗏's talent can sort of go. No last minute pivot, so we are going to see Glory on Jace. And that's much more exciting.
We've seen a lot of mid lane Jace in the VCS. I think more than any other league. We are really liking our mid lane Jace. I think it has to do with the fact that our best mid laner 𝗬𝗏 is an expert on this champion. Also, of course, pairs nicely with the likes of Ezreal. Wait. This?
Mid lane Aurelia.
Mid lane Wukong, top lane Aurelia?
Mid lane
Okay.
It's the Neeko.
Wait, where is Neeko go? What is going on?
Neeko goes mid. It's a good champion to roam on. So that's
more CC.
It does fit into Froggy's sort of wheelhouse, and it's one of his better mages. So again, we're looking at sort of a poke comp out of Percent with a semi front line in the Mordekaiser. But,
yeah.
It's a weird comp.
Yeah, once again, I don't really like the Graves in this comp. What is he going to accomplish? All your champs want to run away, and Graves is kind of in the middle and probably not doing much.
Yeah,
so
with the pivot, the Graves doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. Graves Jace just doesn't really make much sense. Both want to build AD, so enemies are incentivized to go armor early. Then the build path, especially for Jace, is way way less effective. So really not the biggest fan of this combination. Let's see what 𝗬𝗏𝗏 can do with the Graves. I feel like 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗄 came out ahead in this draft, even though they went for the very range solo lane picks, blind Wukong and Neeko last pick. So a little bit of a weird one, but I feel like they won this draft and have a way easier to play composition.
Yeah, I think I mean, I think the percent draft is a bit more coherent, but I mean, there's lots of kite with the because there's lots of kite, but there's also quite a bit of dive with the Wukong and the Nico, so you can use them both as disengage if you want. I don't know. Both comps are kind of weird and have like one or two pieces that just sort of throw it off. But yeah, but overall, I think Saigon's got the better draft, but we will see who plays.
Okay, so you preempted me. So Saigon's your prediction?
We'll go Saigon, but it's a coin toss, honestly.
I can't believe you picked against your boy Glory. You're obviously not really devoted to him, but thank you, Vinny. We'll talk to you again. We'll talk to you again after the game, you absolute heathen. Get out of here. It's just me and Yulwei now. And this is potentially a very bloody game. There are a lot of champions that like to fight, and these junglers could be looking for some early action.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see where the junglers want to go first. Of course, Kindred is always very interesting to watch on a first clear. Can she get the first mark? Can she get going early? Or will the enemy team throw everything at the two _𝗲𝗄𝗏s to deny the very first mark, of course? So I think that should be our early game focus. In terms of ganks, lanes to gank, both junglers don't really want to gank much. Kindred just wants to farm. Graves is the same. And we have an early invade on the bot side, so Graves probably knows the Kindred is on top side. Can Kindred counter invade? There's a very good ward spotting a potential counter invade on the blue buff, which was placed by either YT or Glory. Not quite sure, but that should
have
also
to be. Well, actually, I'm not sure which one it is.
I'm not sure, but this should prevent this invade from happening. So Kindred is basically 3-buffed already, which is not a great start. But it doesn't really matter.
They didn't even know.
Yeah. Oh, wow. She had no idea. So now it's really bad for her because she gave up the top side clear, which she can't go back to because it takes too long to get back to the top side, especially with the _𝗲𝗄𝗏 spawning. So she's really praying for a bot lane scuttle spawn. But the early pathing for Dructure was adapted in a way so that he's on the same side of the map and can actually fight for the first _𝗲𝗄𝗏.
Yeah. The Kindred is clearing her wolves at the moment. She actually might cheat back up towards the top side and just go straight to Scuttle. I think that's the pathing we're seeing out of 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏. This is a very bad start for the Kindred, though, losing that buff and just being so completely unaware. I'm just waiting to see the _𝗲𝗄𝗏 spawn to see where the marks pop up. Because I think that is going to be our first point of contention.
Yeah. Very good, though, for 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏 to path topside, in my opinion.
Oh, hang on a minute. 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏 is pathing into the enemy jungle here. They could have a bit of a confrontation. 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏 has no mana, has full top lane prio, though. Is Draxar just going to give this one up? No, 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 just concedes.
But Draxar
very strange.
Dructure used the smite on his thing, on his Agatha there. So now he actually that was so lucky for Dructure because he used the smite, so the _𝗲𝗄𝗏𝗏 is completely free from 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is very unlucky with the spawn because the bot lane scuttle is his mark, and he can't get to the bot lane scuttle. So very big loss for 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, who has also fallen behind in terms of experience, 2 camps behind, soon to be 3. So he needs to be probably assisted by his team to get back into the game because it's not going to get easier.
I'm not sure why he pulled off the blue buff. They had full top lane prio. His Wukong was going to be there days before 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
So I think the main reason was actually his mana being absolutely on 0. So he had no time. He had no way to accelerate the blue buff. And he was too scared of losing the blue buff to a smite, because if you invest all the time to just auto take down the blue buff, and then you lose it to the smite fight, you are in a very bad situation. So he basically banked on the fact that he would get the top lane scuttle, which he did, but the top lane scuttle didn't give him a mark. So in the end, not worth it. And in hindsight, it looks very bad for him.
Yeah, absolutely. 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 off to a pretty horrific start. Let's have to see if he can bounce back, as there's been a bit of trading in the mid lane. Froggy and Glory both chugging down those corrupting pots. and saved it. Oh, but 𝗬𝗟𝗧 just goes forward. Flash Ignite. I don't think he got the Q off. And now 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗃 is here. And this is a good way to get your Kindred back into the game with a free kill donated by 𝗬𝗟𝗃. Vinnie, eat your heart out. Your boys fed away first blood.
Are we sure we're not watching PhD again? That was such a PhD move. That was classic PhD. Just going for the 1-for-1, disregarding any map position or your lane state. And yeah, well, nice timing from 𝗬𝗲𝗃. He just flashed in. Very easy execution on the kill. And now he's back in the game. Got the first blood on the skirmisher Saber already. So he should be able to stand up to 𝗲𝗄𝗃 a little better now.
Oh, well. That was certainly a play. I think he flashed forward and then put up the gate, and then his Q hit a minion, and it didn't go through the gate. Might have had the damage had it actually worked. 𝗬𝗃𝗃 is on the dragon, is spotted. There's a binding being used. 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗃 is here. They really want to get that E from the Kindred, but no, everyone manages to get away. It is 2 summoners burnt by Lisa, though, and the dragon resets because 𝗬𝗃𝗃 had to come help his lane.
Yeah, and this was actually 𝗏𝗏𝗏 with very good movement. If you look at the map, he was in mid lane, so scaring the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 off the dragon, because the dragon could have been taken here. Of course, everyone was committed, but there might be another fight. Round 2.
𝗬𝗃𝗃 is here. They knew he was close, but they didn't respect it. Hin has to flash. Style doesn't have a flash. This is insane. He's just ignoring the enemy ADC, and it doesn't matter. Hin will pick up the kill. The Q, the ranger's focus is being used. Has to get away from the Graves damage, though. Style, be careful. They come out 1-for-0. 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗃 is on the
so
Drake.
Broken, man. Every time we see him, he gets a solo kill on lane. It's insane. Either a VCS player is super good on Bard or super bad against Bard. I'm not sure which of the two. Maybe a little bit of a mix of both. But wow, another Bard stun. That was a 2v3, a genuine 2v3, which they won. And this is exactly what we wanted to see from 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏's bot lane. A better performance in laning phase. So let's look at this again. Hin takes all the pressure, and then look at the minion wave.
This is so bold by Style.
Yeah, there's so many minions. And wow, he gets the last tick of the Q on the dying minion there. Just like half a second later, and the minion would have been dead to all the minion pressure. So very nicely done from him.
Ooh, 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃 is invading a red buff. He's a level 6. 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗃.
He has
pulling
might
it to
as
the
well.
right side. Yeah, I think this will be going over to the Graves. There it is. 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗃 is getting absolutely slammed in this jungle matchup at the moment. This is so depressing. Maybe
and even though he
should leave the Kindred at home.
Maybe. Well, even though he got all the early pressure down and the early kill, he didn't get a single mark because he still has marked the 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃, as you always do as a jungler. You always mark the other jungler because it's the most likely thing you will meet. But he hasn't gotten a kill or an assist on 𝗬𝗃𝗃, so now he's still on 0 camps, 0 marks. He is 20 CS down already. He's still a level down, almost 2 now. So it's a very bad start.
Yeah, it's just high caliber champion that Graves is off to the start we all expect. Not some high caliber jungling there as the wolf resets while 𝗬𝗏𝗏 is getting the buff handed off. Oh god,
Wolf, please.
That wolf is absolutely he's avenging his other brother, the wolf half of Kindred, saying, yeah, you've been bullying wolves, I'm gonna screw your jungle path. As he does pick up the
run
Gronk.
back and forth all the time. What was that movement?
He's a happy doggo.
Yeah, it's very strange. He lost aggro and then just still ran back and lost aggro again. Okay, Wolf. I guess he just wanted to see a little bit of the map. Fair enough. 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃?
Oh, 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃 taking some damage. There's nothing to stun him up off, though, and there's an accelerated shock blast. 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗃 is incredibly low, and he just goes down. Hello? Question mark? What just happened? Did he think he was level 6?
He definitely didn't think that 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃 would just kill him in a matter of seconds. 𝗬𝗃𝗃 was level 7 though, so 2 levels ahead. Just stood there, took all the damage because it was just a support, and Froggy there missing all the skill shots, or rather 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃 actually flashed the most important skill shot. So Very good for 𝗬𝗲𝗃 to realize he can actually fight this and get another kill on 𝗬𝗬𝗃. 𝗬𝗬𝗃 is put so far behind now. So even though the start for the bot lane went well for 𝗬𝗲𝗃, now the gold is even and the jungle matchup is a big problem.
Yeah, absolutely. This jungle is an absolute disaster.
Let's look at this again.
Dunno.
And how does he avoid getting killed? So he gets hit by bot Q. And 𝗬𝗬𝗃 is too far. Wait, what? That's not 𝗬𝗬𝗃. Oh, 𝗬𝗂 didn't actually do anything in the fight.
No.
𝗬𝗂 tried to get there, but she was zoned and by Glory and it couldn't just run there, disregarding everything. So it was actually just a 2v1, and Bard hit all the spells but didn't stun. So basically, damage-wise, we're just comparing 𝗬𝗬𝗃 to 𝗬𝗲𝗃, and of course, 𝗬𝗲𝗃 is way stronger. So nice execution, and very good on him to realize he can actually go for the kill there.
Yep, absolutely. Did not back down. Realized it was no big backup from 𝗬𝗬𝗃. So let's reset. It is a big jungle lead, 4%. How did the Buffalo get back into this one? They don't even have the biggest bot lane lead despite that early kill.
Yeah, they're still
the 10
even in
CS
gold.
down,
So yeah, at least in terms of gold, they are not okay. Jungle
Mostly the
creeps
top
are
lane.
kind of
That's the top
trolling
lane.
𝗬𝗲𝗃. Yeah,
It's the top lane is why the gold is. Ooh, the Death Realm attempted there, but 𝗲𝗲𝗃 just cloned out, and that breaks the tether.
Yeah, even if the Death Realm had landed, wouldn't really have done much, in my opinion, because he was close enough to the turret there. So
I feel like 𝗲𝗲𝗃 should have let the Death Realm happen, because then you can gank the 𝗬𝗏𝗄𝗃.
Probably, yeah. So in terms of gold, SGB is still on a good spot. Their jungler is very weak, but all the lanes are even or ahead, especially top lane. It's actually surprising to see the counter matchup playing this much in favor of 𝗲𝗲𝗃, even though he was counterpicked by YT. So definitely showing once again that 𝗲𝗲𝗃 is a very good player.
𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 is more of a soft counter, in my opinion. Wukong can't get super ahead and can't bully the 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 out because his passive isn't very good against 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃, but it's not like the 𝗬𝗃𝗃 or the Volibear where the Wukong doesn't get to play the game.
That's a fair point.
Because it's in the end, it's 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃, right?
Yeah, 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 should still be able to get to a decent CS advantage because he wins all the trades early on with AP damage. So yeah, I feel like it's still definitely 𝗲𝗲𝗃 who has played this better than expected, but maybe not the biggest achievement ever. Still feel like 𝗬𝗲𝗃 is stabilizing a little bit, especially if you look at the dragons. They've now gotten all the dragons, even though their jungler is so far behind. So it's actually, even though Graves is strong, we've seen Graves being strong and then doing nothing in mid-game time and time again. So they are still in an okay spot here.
Yep, and there's a Death Realm being used onto 𝗲𝗲𝗃. Yeah, and he just zoops away. I don't know if he's realized that the jungler's here. Hopefully someone on his team is telling him.
Okay.
And now the teleports are coming in. It's going to be a 3v2. That is a Neeko, not on the most health, but the Cyclone's already gone as well. But they're dealing all this damage onto 𝗬𝗲𝗃. The collateral damage. The Ash Arrow from downtown all the way across the map. The stun lands. 𝗬𝗃𝗃 has fallen. Big Koro will join his team. And it's a 3-0 for the Saigon Buffalo.
Incredible play from Saigon Buffalo. Perfect realization that actually 𝗲𝗲𝗃 is under no threat whatsoever. They can't kill him 2v2, so just send all the globals and some TPs to the top lane and profit from that. Perfect. Star actually stayed bot lane and hit that very crucial ultimate. So just perfect execution there. Cross-map play, a lot of TPs, and then also the global ultimate from Ashe. So I want to actually see where Ashe was. Yeah, she was in bot lane. So when does she hit?
That was raw dog.
When did the call come in? So they are
there are
fighting
pings
here.
coming down.
Ashe ultimate.
Where's the Ash Arrow?
Not. There it is.
There it is. It's just been fired. So now
the impending
doom is coming. Yeah, it really is. But the impending doom is coming. It just misses YT and hits the 𝗬𝗃𝗃. And he is a little bit mad about that one. A good tempered fade as well. I missed that on cast. But we come back to live, and YT is died twice.
Yes.
As he goes down again.
There we go. The turret at least went down for % in the mid lane. So, style.
Oh, Styles in a lot of trouble here. He's been found between the turrets, and �11𝗏𝗃 bounces back, gets revenge for the arrow as he
How
takes
did
down
that
the
happen?
ADC.
He had vision.
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
You just flashed too late, I guess. So, good capitalization on mispositioning, you could say, but also just a nice play from Percent. I feel like Styles should have had the time to get away there, but in the end, it's a nice counter kill for Percent, and they are keeping up decently with 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗄, even though they lost that big top lane fight. Look at the gold; it's only 1k. So even though it's 2-6 in terms of kills, they are pretty close in terms of gold. So that's a good sign.
Goes top lane.
They need to stabilize a little bit, especially in the top lane matchup, because if Wukong is this far ahead, even the projected counter matchup won't do much against him. He can probably just slam cycling against YT and get big advantages. So top lane is a big struggle, while mid lane is a strong point with Glory on a CS advantage and almost 2 items very early on in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing here is that Percent needs to keep using their jungle lead. This is actually what we saw. It's very similar, at least, to what we saw in Flash's games last week. They got ego ahead on this Graves, very far ahead. They played the first 15 minutes really well, and then the jungle lead didn't do anything. Partially because, well, it's Graves, and partially just because they didn't know what to do with it. And we need to see Percent know what to do with it. Your jungler is still miles ahead of 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏. 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏 is barely in this game. �11𝗏𝗏𝗏 is 2 levels up. He's ahead in gold. You need to keep snowballing off your Graves.
Also, take a look at the items already built. We talked about the missed opportunity to build a better synergy on the side of Percent, where they have double AD. Oh, maybe I come back to it later, because there's a fight coming up in the mid lane.
Tempered Fate and Ashe Arrow. That would have been really bad, because one of those was definitely not going to do anything. But here comes the Neeko ult. It hits onto 3 into the Cyclone. And it's a wombo combo. Happy feet for sure. YT will be coming out of the Death Realm, and I don't think he's going to like what he finds. As the monkey was already spinning, in goes 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏. To get another one, he'll go down to Glory as payment for his hubris, but it doesn't matter. 4 for 1 mid lane tower, and the Buffalo are here to play.
Think back to our pre-game, we actually said this will be a very much about fights in the mid game between both teams, because that is what they are both good at, and we see a lot of action, a lot of very decisive fights. This time around, 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 seems to get the better in all the fights. So this game might just be tending towards over territory, because 3k gold lead, 3 dragons, 10-3 in kills. It's going to be very hard for Percent to come back. They blew a lot of their engage tools, but then a very nice stun from Hin, and what a follow-up from 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on the Neeko. Off-meta pick on the Neeko. No one really plays Neeko anymore, but he comes in and surprises everyone with a 3 or 4-man ultimate. Also, this interaction is just a little silly. He comes out of the death realm and immediately gets knocked out. But
I don't know how that's silly. How else would it work? You got hit by the Cyclone.
Yeah,
it does look silly. As 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 now pushing in the top lane. Percent at least not resting on their laurels. They want to keep this one going. Now, you were making a point about build synergy before that fight kicked off. Please do go back to it. It was an interesting one.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, look at all the armor already built on 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's side. Because Jace, of course, wants to go lethality. But you have another champion that goes heavy armor, heavy AD early on. Grace, of course. And even Ezreal's doing AD damage. So the lethality will not do as much. Sadly, for 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, they don't actually roll the Mountain Drake. But they still are building armor. We have Ninja Tabai in the top lane. We have Zhonya's second item for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. No armor yet on Style, but a little bit of armor even on him. So Jace is not dealing as much damage anymore. The only one he really wants to hit is Style.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be allowed to do that. It should be just getting blocked by the frontline members of the Buffalo. We do see as well, Style has 1,000 gold lead over 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, so he's looking very good. It's looking good pretty much everywhere, particularly that top lane, of course. This Wukong 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, we said it. This is the 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 show. The Saigon Buffalo are the 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Buffaloes, or the Saigon 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s. I don't know. The community can tell me which one. But it's one of those two, because they're barely a team.
Well, they are looking like
that sounded a lot harsher than I meant it to. They're actually playing really, really well. 𝗲𝗲𝗄 is just their star player. It's what I meant. Yeah. I didn't actually mean to blame them there.
He has really grown into a big star of the league. And think back to summer where we were very critical of him and said he's just not ready yet. But glimpses of his mechanics were always on display, and now he's finally grown into a player that is not overextending too much anymore. He consistently wins lane, and he knows how to flank. He seems to have it all. He's a very complete player right now, and one of the big stars of the VCS.
Yeah, absolutely. He is making his case for best top laner. He's not there yet. He's still got a few scouts to take on that mountain, but we've got a whole split ahead of us. And 𝗲𝗲𝗄 is going to be one to keep a very, very keen eye on. As 𝗬𝗲𝗄 is just desperately trying to get some farm under his belt without pushing this wave out, but it's not doing so well.
So it has slowed down a little bit, which is natural. This time in the game is always where the game tends to slow down a little bit, but we have a big objective come up in 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's Infernal Soul. 𝗲𝗲𝗄 has actually caught up in levels. He's level 12 now, so not even a smite advantage.
He has 5 stacks as well, so something just to track. He has hit his breakpoint of 4 marks, where he gets the big range upgrade, can actually play like an ADC. This is a very strong Kindred. The 2 of them will definitely be very, very problematic for %. And once again, we see a Graves that got off to a massive early lead. The team absolutely knew how to get their Graves ahead. And then Graves said, wait, but I'm Graves. I need to fall behind.
Oh, man.
And just couldn't keep it going.
So you've played a lot of Kindred, right? You're a little bit of a Kindred expert, if I understand that correctly.
Yeah, I'm Mastery 7 Kindred. Yeah.
Would you agree that Kindred naturally has a smite advantage on objectives because you can always trigger the ultimate? Yeah. So,
funnily enough, we'll come back to it because there is a team fight here. Big arrow out of style. The Tempered Fate is good as well, but so far no one's really committed. 𝗲𝗲𝗄 taking some damage. 𝗬𝗲𝗄 is in the front line. He's actually in the death realm. I tell a lie. He's with style. He should be able to clean him up and does, but he pops out. Should get traded any moment now, 1 for 1. But it's a top laner for an ADC. And as I was going to say, it's not because of the ult, it's because of the E. The E's in execute.
Fair enough. Oh, very good. Never mind. There's more points.
Engaged. Lots of damage, and Glory is gone. And he gets absolutely blown up. 𝗬𝗲𝗄 will follow. The Cyclone in the front line still spinning. 𝗲𝗲𝗄 goes down. 𝗏𝗏𝗄 now is the final target. 𝗲𝗲𝗄 just kites back. Doesn't want to die for no reason. And 𝗏𝗏𝗄 gets to the tower. He should survive. But the rest of his team definitely has not. Oh boy.
Did %, do you think % overextended that? I feel like % should have known that the fight was able to be extended, because 𝗲𝗲𝗄, of course, still had his ultimate available. Oh, close one. So same was the true for 𝗲𝗲𝗄. And 𝗲𝗲𝗄 is still an ADC. He's not on a lot of items. But usually if you kill the ADC, of course, you say, okay, the enemy team can't fight. They don't have consistent DPS anymore. Not the case in this particular game. And also, big shout out to 𝗏𝗏𝗏, who found another great flank, another flash ultimate into... this time it only hit 1, but it forced a few flashes. And
it's kind of funny that... absolutely. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 looking good on... they're not both reptiles. Damn. I was going to say his fellow reptile, because chameleon, but frogs aren't reptiles. Damn you, science. Ruining my joke.
Close enough.
His fellow cold-blooded thing. A frog's cold-blooded? I don't know. I said that, but I'm not actually sure. Can we move on? Can you save me? Can you stop me digging this hole?
Yep. So focusing back on the game, there was actually Infernal Soul going down. So that's way more important than some weird conversation about amphibs and other things. But of course, now with the Infernal Soul. So Infernal Soul now on the side of 𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗲, and they have 6k gold lead, so this should be a very easy game to win. QSS is now here for style as well, so even if he gets drawn into the death realm, he can now just escape again with QSS. So there's really not much percent can do. The poke doesn't stick. They don't really have great.
Oh, 𝗬𝗏𝗧, he was aware. He wasn't. He didn't have the shop open.
Well, can happen.
Still a little bit caught out though, as Froggy arrives. He got baited, but yeah, 𝗬𝗏𝗧 living up to his name as he's dug a few graves for himself, 4 of them in fact. And Baron will get started up. They've got the Infernal Soul. It's going to go down very quickly. And the Buffalo looked like week 1 might have just been a bit of an aberration, and this is their real form because they're looking good.
Let's don't get ahead of ourselves. They looked incredible in game 1 last week as well. They stomped OPG and then lost 2 in a row. So it's a good sign. It's a good sign that they can come back and look this dominant in the first game. But we still have to see them close out the series. I feel like this game will be very easy to close. They have a lot of dive. They have a lot of SEC to play with. And the enemy team can't really do much to defend. So this has to be a big overextension if they lose. So they spot him here. 𝗬𝗏𝗧 opts to not go for the blast cone instead. Yeah, well,
that was a really strange bad in hindsight. Decision. But I don't know, why would you not blast cone towards top lane? They're not coming from. If they're coming from top lane, like, okay, fine, you didn't read that correctly, but you would have had to be, 6 head to actually read that. But indeed. he went for the 3-head play instead.
Yeah,
blast coned at them.
I think he had a little bit of a lapse of judgment there. There was, he should have just run away. I think he felt safe because the Ash arrow was not there anymore. So he felt like, okay, I can just reset here and get close to Baron as soon as possible. But then disregard the fact that Froggy has so much CC and so much chase with his glacial augment, double glacial augment items already built. So that was also, once again, a very good play from Froggy to follow up on. And I want to talk a little bit about Froggy because we had concerns about him. Do we have time? Is 𝗬𝗏𝗧 caught here?
I don't think we do. As 𝗬𝗏𝗧 is going in, he obviously still has a Kindred ult. It doesn't have to use it. Tempered Fate is good. It's well timed. Ash arrow into the knockups. 𝗲𝗲𝗏 is spinning. They've already got 1. They've got the tower. Can they get more? Glory is the next target, but he gets healed and manages to run away. They're onto the base tower. The base will be broken open, and % are collapsing. The Buffalo are stampeding.
Is this already the final push? They kept alive the minion wave. They have double cannon minions here with Baron buff. They could try to go for the end. They don't really have a designated top frontliner to tank the turrets, so this might be a little bit difficult. But they definitely want to go for it. Looks like they want to close the game.
Yep, they are absolutely looking for it. 𝗬𝗏𝗧 flashes. They want to get Big Koro. There's the Lamb's Respite. First one I've actually seen this game. As YT looking weird in that golden. Oh, Froggy played front. He goes down. Now this is going to be a little bit close. They want to hit the Nexus, but they're actually going to have to back off. A bit of a weird one. There's the collateral damage. Hin will go down as well. 𝗲𝗏𝗏 has Cyclone back up, but he doesn't have the health bar. And 4 kills do go the way of %. It's the last gasp. They managed to hold the Nexus.
Oh no. Now, all the memories from last week are coming back for SGB. They threw a game against OPG, the 3rd one, where they had Baron and Elder Dragon and were pushing for victory, overextended in the base, enemy team closed out the game. This time, of course, % can't immediately run to the enemy Nexus, because there's a lot of turrets still standing, so 1-2 more chances to overextend. But this is, SGB is probably going to have a little bit of nightmares after that situation from the last week, of course.
If they lose. If they end up losing this game, it's a nightmare. But let's have a look at what happened. They were just they just stayed a little bit too.
The inhibitor.
Okay, just doesn't want to admit that it's bad.
Yeah, 0 HP, but still with an HP bar. That's always the best thing to do. Froggy a little bit overzealous. I can see why he did this. He landed a lot of damage, but his team wasn't really there to back him up and to follow up on his CC and his damage. So
it was just a little bit mistimed. If he'd done that 5 seconds later, they can probably burst the Nexus. But just
also, I feel like one of 𝗲𝗏𝗏 or Hin should have blocked 1 or 2 skill shots for Style there. Style also got hit by everything, so you have to blame him a little bit. But...
Hello, Elder. This
Husband
is
lying in wait.
potential. If this gets stolen, Percent could be back in the game. Could be. 3,000 health. 𝗬𝗲 is here. It's not a true 50-50, and 𝗬𝗲's not even attempting it. And down goes the Elder. Infernal Soul and Elder and the Fed Wukong. I think we're going to see some blah.
We're going to see some insane bursts. Imagine the combination for a 𝗏𝗏gy. Look at if 𝗏𝗏gy lands a 4-5-man ultimate, he might just get a pentakill, honestly. That is so much damage. Infernal Soul and Elder Dragon on Nico ult level 16. That is insane amounts of damage. I want to see the insta explosion. The pentakill for Nico. That would be a nice end to the game.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun as they are sieging now onto this mid inhib tower. 𝗏𝗏gy takes a fair bit of damage, but there's the Tempered Fate. The tower's gone. This is when they can go. In goes 𝗲𝗲. He's spinning around. There's the first execute. 𝗏𝗏eliodas gets it, and Percent are just melting away. It wasn't the 𝗏𝗏gy penta that we wanted, but it is 3 kills. They're going towards the men on the fountain. The Nexus goes down, and 𝗳𝗏𝗄𝗏 bounce back. They raise our expectations back up as they take down Percent.
What a start to this series. 𝗳𝗏𝗏 definitely coming back into the VCS after a very disappointing week 1 and showing everyone we are still gunning for that title. We are actually contenders. That was just a little bit of a blip on the radar against 𝗏𝗏gy last week. We are here to stay and to contest with the very best.
And I see, unfortunately, a little white flag waving. I don't know if we're back on screen yet, but Vinnie, you okay, man? Is it all right? Glory, he didn't have a great game. You don't need to surrender yet. There's more rounds. You're still muted, by the way.
Okay, no, it wasn't good. Yeah, looking at it, the main issue is that we said they were both teams that like to team fight. Very good team fighting teams. And that was not a team fighting comp at all from Percent. And even though they got that Graves rolling, that it didn't mean much because of that massive team fight top just undid all that. It meant, sure, he had an individual lead, but the rest of the team was so far behind. Graves cannot do anything there. Unless he was 7.
I'm not going to lie.
Something.
I'm convinced every day. I'm more and more convinced we live in a simulation because Yulwei opened the split saying Graves is terrible and can't carry his team, and every Graves we have seen has had that exact thing happen. Yulwei is looking Nostradamus, but
he can carry his team.
Let's talk about
unless
MVPs.
His team is a bunch of inting monkeys, which keeps happening.
Yeah, Glory, the inting monkey. Just keep in mind, Vinnie said that. But let's talk about MVPs. I think there's only a couple of candidates. My vote goes to 𝗲𝗲.
Mine goes.
I think it's 𝗏𝗏gy for me.
𝗏𝗏gy.
Yeah, 𝗏𝗏gy. Actually, no, that's a good point. All right, fair enough. I'll be happily outvoted.
But
I'll happily be outvoted on that one. 𝗏𝗏gy had a great game. So 𝗏𝗏gy will get our MVP. He was dominant on the chameleon in the mid lane, who I'm going to call an amphibian just for the sake of the joke. So we have to see if the 𝗳𝗏𝗏 can close the series out or if Percent will bounce back and take us to a game 3. Find out soon, guys. Don't go anywhere. This is VCS English, bringing you all the VCS action live on Twitch.
You could say it was karma chameleon. I don't know.
Awake to my voice and hear the call within. Embrace the fear inside. Surrender your mind to mine again.
G'day, everybody. Welcome back for game 2 of 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂. Oh, God, I thought I put my arms down before you transitioned. I just noticed you got caught on strain. But we're back.
Good job.
Take it away, analysts.
Welcome back, everyone, to 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂 versus 𝗲𝗏. But 𝗲𝗏 kind of got blown out in that first game. So, Yulwei, tell us what the hell happened. I'm everyday now.
Every day is not a person, it's a title. No, but welcome back, everyone. But do actually go ahead and do your stuff, guys.
So let's talk a little bit about what actually broke the game open. I think 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂 had some very nice early plays around bot side, but then the one most crucial team fight you directly after the game, you already touched on it, was in top side, where 𝗲𝗏𝗏 baited the gank into everyone collapsing with cross-map abilities and TPs. So just good TP play, and I'm actually surprised to see 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂 pull out good TP plays, because that was their downfall in game 2 against OPG. The same happened to them, where they went bot lane and OPG TP'd on them twice or even 3 times. And they just feeded so many kills away, fed so many kills away. I think it was like 1-8 after 20 minutes or 15 minutes even. So good to see them work on their TP coordination.
However, they still making some mistakes that we saw.
Yeah, of course.
Like, the only reason there was a very good chance 𝗲𝗏 could have come back if they weren't already so deep in the hole, because they stayed so long around that nexus. And I'm worried we're going to see 𝗏𝗏𝗏 become, I guess, the fanatic in that they're just not going to be able to kill nexuses.
Nexus. I mean, Nexus is the last objective in the game, so it's supposed to be hard to take, right? Not really true most of the time, but definitely true for 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂.
Yeah, because they're good at team fighting, except around the nexus, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Because that was because there was a brief glimmer of hope, and then it was like, oh wait, no, they've still got Oceans.
Yeah,
they've still got Infernal Soul. You're not even contesting an Elder. Yeah, game's over. GG, go next.
Disregarding the one team fight where they fumbled in base and maybe overstayed a little bit too much.
Yeah.
They actually closed out this game pretty cleanly, in my opinion. So that's a very good sign once again.
Yeah,
I'm always very focused on clean closing, because I feel like that is one of the most important traits of good teams, to be able to close games. So I'm happy with what I've seen from 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂. So let's talk about 𝗲𝗏. Your boys. What happened?
Well, we got ahead early with we got very far ahead early on the in the jungle. We smashed the jungle matchup, and then all of a sudden we took fight top lane and lost, and then we just kept losing from there. Jesus Christ,
What do you I don't know what you're talking about. we're heading into champ select though, so we'll see what they do change.
So what I want to see from 𝗲𝗏 is a much more simple team fight comp, front to back. Try and get YT on a champion he really likes, try and get him the Wukong maybe. And I'm sort of feeling it's more and more blind pickable if you want, but I don't know. Anyway, make it simple. Make it simple.
This is very interesting to me, because 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂 played 2 Senna games and both look kind of bad, especially for the bot lane 2v2. So I'm very surprised they want to get rid of Senna for 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂. I would have actually liked for 𝗲𝗏 to force 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂 on the Senna. So this one strikes me as a strange read. Maybe they've played scrims before against 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗂 and actually say, okay, it's only 2 stage games. They are a good Senna team, possible. This one
quite possible. And I mean, you can see where the respect's going, and it's going towards the rookies on both teams with the double mid lane, double AD carry bans. They are wanting to make these characters uncomfortable. Triple banned out 4%, and that's
what
the
is
Zoe
open?
and that's Zoe is is one of Glory's best. He's the best Zoe in the VCS. I'm not even afraid to say that.
I don't think you should be. Get it out there. That was great. That's a very good opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
he definitely looked
who
good
else?
in the first
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
So Pantheon banned. So we have 𝗬𝗲𝗃 open. 𝗬𝗲 actually open as well.
Varus
so-
open.
Yeah, wow.
That
Varus
has to be first
okay.
pick. Varus is,
Let's see.
and they snap pick that. What do they
Let's see
have to
what
counter
this
it?
then.
Mad Lions? Hello?
Yeah, Senna is
Maybe
banned
what's
though.
Because
Yeah.
I don't.
For this.
They banned it as well. They banned the center,
Yeah.
leaving
it's
the
very
graves
strange.
open.
Oh, okay. That is another weird
Interesting.
adaptation. Usually you actually would go Karma Grace here when you look at the VCS meta. So another weird one to me. Opens up Graves now for maybe you don't want to go Graves with Varus because both are lethality builders, so it's probably potentially not the greatest combination. Meliot is also more of a Kindred player, so we might see another Kindred. And Kindred into Trundle, of course, is a way better matchup than
It
Kindred
is
into
a
Graves.
much better matchup.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I think, Percent's really drafting themselves into a hole with this. Because you
I agree.
just saw Meliodas plays Kindred. And that is one of the biggest counters to the Trundle pick. And Buffalo's draft is just really strong.
They just-
Really strong so far. All
This
they're
is
missing
something
is
I've said this before, and I've noticed it a few times so far in this VCS split. Sometimes it looks like teams aren't actually drafting against each other. It's almost like they're playing a blind draft pick.
I really like this one too.
But at this point, like, you're playing a blind draft pick, but Percent
no.
isn't even picking good champions. Like, they're not going to lock in the set. Oh my god, no.
It
So-
seems like people are reading 𝗬𝗲 as a counter into Varus, because I'm pretty sure 𝗬𝗲 was also picked into Varus from Saigon's side.
No,
last,
it was
last week.
picked into.
No. It was Ezra.
It was picked into Asher.
Interesting.
Oh no, it was Ash. You're right. You are right. But it is actually an Ash counter because you can spell shield with Volley.
That's fair. Yeah, but range
It kind of is a counter depending. It's a good matchup depending on your support. It becomes so support dependent, and I don't think Percent is set up
But
in a way that they can draft a good support.
Let's
counter.
ignore the Varus for a second, which is ridiculous to say. They've got an arguably the strongest champion on the patch. You ignore the Varus, like, what is 𝗬𝗲 doing against Wukong?
You can spell
What are you
shield
gonna you
first.
gonna spell you? Yeah, you spell
Cyclone?
shield the first tick of Cyclone. You don't even spell
Yeah,
shield the full
you
thing. You spell
can't
shield a
actually.
tick.
No, you can't actually spell shield because he can just
No,
break
it's
his spell
garbage.
with E. It's
Well,
super
yeah,
hard.
okay,
for
but
you
let's pretend that you're a robot and you actually spell shield the Cyclone. You spell shield tick. Cool.
Yeah,
It hits you more than
fair.
once. This is a pretty shocking draft out of Percent so far.
I can actually
How
understand.
can they round this out?
Well, it's full team fight mode. I think it's full 5-item team
I
fight mode
think
with.
you always look at drafting Alistair. Just to
Yeah.
kick. Just to
Alistair
kick.
is.
Just to kick. Just to
on
play
the way.
pure disengage. You get a soft.
I would have
counter
actually.
soft counter to the Kindred. You get soft counter to the.
Karma bot lane though.
It's Karma bot lane. I could still be Karma mid, and Alistair. It would be such a low damage comp. It would be bad, but I still think it would be better
already
than Karma
bad.
bot.
It
It's
has
not
strong.
good.
It has strong 5-5 team fighting though, so if they can get to 35 minutes, there's a lot of potential on this draw. 𝗬𝗲 has a lot of damage later on. Oh,
could
can we see
try
another
and
froggy
here.
here?
For that disengage of the ult, that might be a way, and try and Emperor's Divide away the Wukong. I think that might be the pick. Get
𝗁𝗏𝗄𝗏
Glory.
is another possibility.
I think
Yeah.
the Azir is better because you only have the knockback when you have a package with 𝗁𝗏𝗄𝗏, and I
That's
think that knockback and disengage potential is important. Someone agrees with
Nicely
me,
done. Nicely
and
done.
there you go.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, this
you look like a
makes a lot
smart
of
boy.
Azir is also very good early on into Kindred, where he can kick them out of their ultimates. So Kindred actually struggles a lot into Azir. in early skirmishes around 8-minute rift halls and stuff like that. So I like this last pick Azir. This is bread and butter late game team fight composition. And it actually looks a lot like Season 6 meta, World's meta, with of course the new addition of Ornn in the top lane, but they don't really have the strongest early skirmishing. Sivir relies a lot on items. She's okay on one item, but then she kind of spikes on 3 and 4 items, so she needs a lot of time to get going. And Varus on the flip side is very strong on every single item he buys. So they kind of have to weather the storm somehow. And if they can get to 35 minutes, I feel like I favor Percent.
If Percent on like Downer and Dragon Soul, or three inhibitors and getting completely smashed. Yeah, if you get to 6 items, you can definitely say Percent have the advantage, but I don't see them getting to 6 items with this setup.
So far, Zygon Buffalo have been very aggressive, forcing plays in the early game, and a very good early game team. So it's hard to imagine a world where Percent actually gets to the 6 item point. They have a good 6 item draft, but can they get there? On the other side, we haven't really talked much about Zygon so far, Zygon Buffalo's comp. It's very active. I love the Wukong again for 𝗲𝗲 so far. It's been incredible on the Wukong. So also Froggy on the TF and last week was very good. So I feel like this is Froggy snowballing top lane into an incredible 1-2 item power spike draft for
Dragon. Go top lane though? Why not just
guys? I hate to cut you off midpoint, but that is a Summoner's Rift that I'm seeing. So Vinny, give us a few words and a prediction. Don't worry, we have a post game. Write your point down. Give us a few words and your prediction, and then we'll kick off this game.
Percent's draft is terrible, and because of that, they're going to lose. Why is Varus in the game?
Fair enough. Goodbye, Vinny. We'll talk to you after the game. You're predicting against your boy Glory to go down 0-2. It must hurt. But your way. To continue the point, because we haven't talked too much about the Zygon Buffalo, because it's kind of obvious what their team comp does, right? They just picked good stuff.
It actually is not.
Oh, okay.
Look at Varus's rune choice.
Oh,
that is
God.
a big surprise. He is actually going for consistent damage. That is very surprising. To be fair, Varus got nerfed. The lethality mode of Varus got nerfed this patch. We haven't really seen much attack speed Varus, but now they have 2 consistent damage dealers in the ADC position. So it's a very different one, and will likely make the team comp scale a little bit better, because Varus, lethality Varus will fall off against 2 tanks on the other side. So it's an interesting adaptation. I'm still not quite sure how I feel about it, but this is definitely something we have to point out and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason Varus is broken, and it's not the on-hit build. So I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this one. It is, you make the good point about into 2 tanks, lethality Varus does fall off, and particularly the Sivir. Maybe it's hard to get poke onto the back line. We might have to come back to it as here's a bit of a gank setup. They're not killing YT. They get his flash. I guess that's all you need.
He did not have to flash, by the way.
No, he could have just walked away. There was no damage. Kindred does not have her E at level 2 because you have to take W and Q. So
that is actually a very bad start for YT. He was so scared of this gank, he didn't actually take into consideration that there was nothing to kill him. So now he's very exposed. So far, 𝗲𝗲 has played very strong in laning phase at controlling his waves and letting the enemy overextend into him, so kind of freezing and pulling the wave, which might result in YT falling down very early on in this game, especially once Froggy hits level 6. Which should be in time for YT's flash to still not be available.
Yeah, that's very true. And this is going to be... it's just a weird decision out of YT. I'm not sure why he was so scared. Like, Kindred at level 2 just doesn't do that much damage. They don't have the dive potential. Now they do. The level 3 is here. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is here. Here comes the gold card. They're starting it off. 𝗲𝗲𝗏's tanking. He needs to get away. He gets knocked up. He has to flash, but 𝗏𝗏𝗏 will go down. It's a kill for 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and hopefully that emote that came up does not predict how much the rest of this game will go.
It's a great start. What a great play. Oh, what is going on? This is not a replay.
What? Oh my God, this is going again. He's just TP'd in. He's done the 𝗁𝗁𝗁. He's going to be a Twitch streamer in NA for all we know. And 𝗏𝗏𝗏 just goes straight back down. And he's at a 90-degree angle of tilt.
Oh my God, that is the worst thing that can ever happen to you. This is one of the most standard redives that has ever emerged in League of Legends. Just wrap around, just come at him again and just redive him. So now 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is in a really bad position, and he also gives 𝗲𝗲𝗏 the opportunity to go for the very strong anti-tank build with Blade of the Rune King first, which is going to be built, as you can see, in 𝗲𝗲𝗏's itemization.
Yep, top lane's over. GG. That is the lane completely donezo. 𝗲𝗲𝗏 is a player that if you give him an inch, he will take a mile, and they just gave him a mile. What does he take? What's above a mile?
We actually get to see both of the dives.
Yeah,
we start with
this
𝗏𝗏𝗏's
is the first one.
Yeah, I feel like 𝗏𝗏𝗏 wanted to take turret aggro here, so 𝗲𝗲𝗏 actually has to flash out. That was not quite the cleanest dive I've ever seen, but this one is just a very bad decision. He can see all the minions are still there. He once again gets to W or immune the CC from gold card, but it doesn't matter. They just want the damage, so the stun doesn't actually do much for them there. And the kill contribution, even though it sounds weird because we want 𝗲𝗲𝗏 ahead, it's actually super, super favorable for his SGB. They get Kindred through her very weak early game, and they get 𝗏𝗏𝗏 an extra kill to accelerate his item power spike and his ability to just clear waves, as we have another clash.
Yep, this is a Gromp steal. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is a level up because he was farming while they were diving, but he takes so much damage. In comes 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 𝗦𝗶𝗏𝗏 can't get out of the lantern, and he just goes down. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 throws a gold card. Well done there, not using it on the 𝗕𝗏, but there is a speed boost. They're coming forward, but in the end, it's just the one kill picked up for %.
Over-aggressive from 𝗦𝗶𝗏𝗏. He's still level 3. Maybe not the time to dive into 4 members on the enemy team. Level 3 ADC in the jungle. Very squishy. He has almost no items, so definitely the wrong decision there for 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏, but not the worst that ever happened to them. They still have a priority in the bot lane. They will still try to get this dragon. 𝗦𝗶𝗏𝗏 is very quick back on the map. He needs to get some levels, though. His jungle, luckily, is up, but he really needs to get some jungle creeps under his belt. He has 18 creeps right now.
Yeah, so just looking back up the top lane, which is a lane a little bit over as this jungle gets cleared out. 𝗲𝗲𝗏𝗏 now very far ahead. Oh, no time at all as 𝗏𝗏𝗏 wants to go in. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 flashing away. Very good reaction, but it was a solid Shurima shuffle. And, I was just trying to show off that we've got our Ornn stats, but I don't think they're relevant this game, I'm going to be honest. I'm sorry, production. I know you worked hard. You can put them on the screen if you want. You should put them on the screen. They look nice, but Ornn's not going to do anything this game.
Yeah, Ornn is in a little bit of a bad position here, but of course, if he gets to weather the storm and gets to 3 items, or 2 items, of course, it's his big power spike, maybe he can actually do something. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, really, this is really where you go like, yep, please team, carry me. I'm a tank. I'm just here on tank duty. I can't do anything, so
well, funnily enough, actually, the stats do turn out to be a little bit relevant.
Oh no!
As Ornn has a 0% win rate, which might continue based on 𝗏𝗏𝗏's performance so far.
Definitely looks likely after the first few minutes here. 0% win rate. Well,
it's only from week 1 though. To be fair, it's only 1 week.
He was played a few times and he might die again.
It's happening again. He couldn't even knock his ram back. 𝗲𝗲𝗏 goes to the lantern. I think TF got interrupted, so they had to call off the play. Okay.
And now the counter.
Here come the boys. It's all 5. Big Koro very far away. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 looking for a pillar onto 𝗲𝗲𝗏. He fakes the clone, buys himself some time, but he won't get to the real clone. It doesn't matter. I got really excited, but it didn't matter. 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 lose a kill. %. Firing back. They're only 600 gold down now.
Very good reaction this time around for 𝗏 to get a kill back. I feel like 𝗤𝗏𝗵𝗲 is still misplaying the dice slightly, where 𝗲𝗲 takes aggro and he's the one melee champ, so he can't stay under turret. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 or 𝗦𝗏𝗏 should take turret aggro first and then go out of turret aggro again, because they have, especially 𝗦𝗏𝗏, can jump out again, right? So I feel like the target to take turret aggro wasn't the greatest in the first and the third dive, and this time around it gets punished. 𝗏 get one kill back and they secure the 𝗏𝗏𝗏, so standing gold to be collected.
Yeah, so it looks like YT has managed to weather the storm on his Ornn. So he's okay. He's actually caught up a little bit. He's gone down to the bot lane now. His team is back in the game. And suddenly we actually have a game going again, which is exciting.
Yep. It's still a 1k gold lead for 𝗤𝗏𝗵𝗲 with a very strong composition, especially in the mid game. And they have the Dragon Snowball on their side. The next Dragon will be there in 2 minutes. And I would say that is a very important moment in the game where we can maybe even decide the game already. Well, 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 for now. But let's... what are we looking at? Oh, just the player. So let's talk about the Dragon, because in 2 minutes' time, we will have one item on TF. We will have the first item on Wukong. And of course, Varus should get close to his blade as well. So quite a good item timing for this for 𝗤𝗏𝗵𝗲. And I believe they will strike.
Who is that with the Sonic
hard.
sleeves? Who is wearing the Sonic sleeves? Oh, they're all wearing them. Is it part of the uniform?
Apparently.
They're all wearing them.
That's cute.
That's great. I love it.
I like Sonic.
They
Sonic was a lot of fun.
They gotta go. Yeah, they gotta go fast. Hell yeah. But do
not
continue
with this
your
team
point.
composition, though. They definitely had the wrong team
I don't know,
composition.
𝗲𝗏.
Yeah, okay, she's
𝗲𝗏.
running fast.
Yeah, she's hitting the legs.
Fair
In we go. But do continue your analysis. I was sorry to derail it for a
I
mention of
basically
Sonic.
finished my point already. So Dragon is definitely I feel like Dragon will be the main win condition here for 𝗤𝗏𝗵𝗲. They started with an early Dragon. They actually took a lot of time of the pathing or just farming for 𝗦𝗏𝗏 to get this early Dragon. So a lot of investment. And this should pay off if they get the second Dragon. And as I said before, I feel like the item timing will favor them in the next fight. And I hope 𝗏 doesn't even contest them, because on Sivir, on Azir, on half an item, you're really not a useful champion. So,
yeah,
if
absolutely.
𝗏 wants to do anything about the Dragon, they should attack mid lane, because we saw the one play with Azir in the mid lane forcing flash out of 𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏's flash is still down for 2 minutes, so maybe they can replicate this gank and this time around lock him down and get the kill.
Maybe, but we are back in game. The pause, thankfully, was nothing serious, evidently, as we begin again. Let's have a look, zoom out, look at how everything is going. We focused on the top lane due to so much action going on up there. But if we actually look in, it is a lead in the mid lane for Glory. The bot lane is fairly even. In fact, it's pretty much bang on even. And the jungle is looking about the same. So it really is just the top lane that's the breaking point here.
Indeed. And it's quite a big lead for the Wukong, and it's not going to get better, because YT on the Ornn, he will soon face a Blade of the Rune King, the #1 item you hate to face as a tank, so it's really not going to get better. Wukong also, with attack speed, plays very nicely, because he can reset his Q way easier, and will shred turrets. But we have a clash in the jungle, 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏's in some trouble, but he knows he can hop past the pillar, and he finally has, but he loses that trade heavily.
Yeah, the longer the trade, the better for Kindred, but the first few seconds is definitely Trundle favorite.
Yeah, you also need to be able to play Trundle around his own pillar. You want to be using it as terrain. There, 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏 just kind of face tanked it, because he said, I'm not going to get this kill. I'm just going to kind of deal a bit of damage back and then leave. So it didn't really matter. But it is now 𝗏 setting up to drop the Rift Herald in the mid lane. There it is, summoned up. They want to give gold to Glory. And of course,
but it's
that
only
makes...
gold. That is quite important. It's only gold. It's not actually the turret. So breaking the mid lane turret will now be very hard for 𝗏, because they couldn't use the first
There's a Twisted Fate. Oh, in they come. The instant flash away by 𝗏𝗏𝗏, as 𝗏𝗏𝗏 trying to charge forward. Will get the stun onto Glory, but there's no follow-up. But it's a summoner forced for 𝗏𝗏𝗏, who was just kind of getting back the lane anyway. So it's a good trade by the Buffalo. And we've now got an Ocean Drake to be set up for here.
And they have perfect positioning. Look at this.
Yeah.
There is no contest for percent.
That's great.
I like
Where are we going your way?
We are going Infernal again. For
All
the
right,
last
fair
game.
enough. As there is a very good setup there by Buffalo. They convert. Yulwei sets up and gets the dunk as he calls the right rift. I'm so proud of your improvement. You've gotten so much better as a caster. But you know what hasn't gotten any better? The top lane matchup. As YT is getting dope, he calls in the ram. Husband has to flash, and the triumph heal comes in clutch and saves him from his own overextension. As Husband gets the clean little solo kill.
It's getting to a point where top lane matchup might just break the game, honestly. Usually, you're not too... Of course, it sucks to fall behind on your own, but usually you're like, okay, you have snowballed your top lane, but our own will still be useful later. But now it's gotten to a point where the on might just die over and over again to Wukong, and then Wukong can just break open the game, win it alone. This is getting dangerously close.
Yeah. This is getting... Yeah, it is. But Husband, he went on the tower, you know? It's not that close.
No, it's getting dangerously close to the point where top lane is will just decide the game. It's not close.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. I completely zoned out there for a few seconds. I was just completely just blurred out as I was just watching the pretty colors on my screen without processing what they were. The mind of a play-by-play caster. Every now and then we have to go to our 20 IQ unga-bunga state to be ready for the next yelly time. But here we are, as Style continuing to farm up, has got that Blade of the Ruined King, of course. We did talk about it earlier. He is not going 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗃.
So, we have one item on every single champion on Saigon Buffalo's side. It's really not the time to fight for percent. Let's look ahead and try to see what they want to do with this game. Platings have fallen. They need more time to scale up. 𝗕𝗂𝗽 is not even on one item. Lisa is far away from his first item as well. As 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲 might be a little bit overextended. He's okay. So another structure will fall. Well, the first structure, actually, in this game. But it feels like Saigon Buffalo has been able to get some more, but they will soon. So that's a lot of standing gold also going to the pockets of Saigon Buffalo. And if percent can't staunch the bleeding in the next 5 minutes, the game will be out of hand. It will be too far away, and especially with the top line being this far in the favor of Hasmid. Even though you have a super tank in On, he's never going to get tanky enough to withstand the damage. So you are in a very bad position in terms of team fight setup. There's a Twisted Fate ult, though.
There is the Destiny. Where's it going to go? He's got a gate in, or he already has. He's just gone top lane. He's just going in for the farm. The farm alarm was sounded. Ooh.
𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗃, what are you doing?
Knock up. 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲 is very caught out. He has the ult to buy time. There it is. Froggy's here. Was it all an elaborate bait? He flashes over the wall. I don't think it was a bait, but he gets away regardless. 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗏, mate, you're in a good position. Don't throw it away.
Yeah. They actually get a kill on 𝗲𝗲𝗿. I didn't even see where 𝗲𝗲𝗿 was, but he was killed by Style. So in the end, it's still a positive trade for Saigon Buffalo. They need to be a little bit cleaner about their map movement. I feel like they can get away with it in this game because they are this far ahead, but they have to clean up some things here and there, especially 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲 being on a very squishy champion. He should be able to get out of the on knock-up in the first place to not get in that peculiar situation. So he still gets everything he wants, and they get another turret very easily. They don't even need to use the Herald. So the Herald is now there for them to break open mid lane as well. And then it's very early, 3 turrets, a perfect snowball opportunity. But how did Trundle die? Where did he even go?
I'm not sure. He's in the back. Hin hits a hook onto him, and then he just gets killed by Husband and Style. Not the best decision making ever out of 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲. What have you thought of 𝗲𝗲𝗿 so far? He's played 2 games.
He seems to be very good when it comes to early game pathing. I feel like I'm impressed with his pathing. He's consistently up in CS, not in this game, of course, because 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗿 just said a little bit of time to farm, but he was early on in this game, and he seems to be able to read the map well. His mechanics look okay, but when it comes to later game, as it often does with rookies, he doesn't look too great. But let's focus on the dragon coming up. Percent actually with good positioning on this dragon. Can they snatch this away and extend the win condition for Saigon Buffalo? They have a pink ward. They have very good ward setups here.
That they
This is
do.
dangerous.
And Percent, they absolutely have priority on this dragon. They're going to pull it out. And are the Buffalo just going to relinquish it? It doesn't look like 𝗕𝗂𝗧𝗧 wants to. Throws out the Wolf's domain. Hops
Hosmer
the
is available.
wall. He's coming straight in. He goes back out, though. Here comes the Ornhorn. It doesn't get redirected. Hit in the middle of the enemy team. Where's Froggy going to land? It's in the back line. He does the Messiah. Goes golden immediately. And 𝗲𝗲 is spinning. He's knocking him up. That monkey is going absolutely on the entire back line of Percent. He gets a triple kill. And it's only Glory left standing. And he will not be lasting long, methinks. They'll hunt him down. No, he gets over the wall. He survives.
Chickens?
The chickens! The chickens get him. The chickens play for the Buffalo. And there they go. Down they go. Mid lane cracked. They'll go back for that dragon. In fact, they've already gotten it. And the Buffalo are absolutely roaring. Buffaloes don't roar. I don't know what noises they make, but they're doing it and they're looking great.
And 𝗲𝗲, I'm so sorry for what I've said in the first series where I went like, 𝗂𝗄𝗃 is by far the best top laner. No, he's not. 𝗲𝗲 is there to contest him. What an incredible showing so far in this split. Once again, triple kill. He even gets out. Just focus your eye on how insanely well 𝗲𝗲 plays that team fight. He sees every opportunity. He goes to get every single kill on the backline there. Yeah, where does he come in? There's the teleport. And Froggy actually died a lot of time for 𝗲𝗲 to come in. Yeah, it was very nicely done for Froggy because he actually got a lot of attention. Now 𝗲𝗲, look at how 𝗲𝗲 plays this. E, flash Q, goes away to 𝗬𝗏𝗃, gets another nice execution with a good hit there. And Glory has no mana to follow up. And the chickens. No.
It's
He's
Buffalo
one of them.
chickens.
He's one of them. How can they do it to him?
They saw the chance to dethrone the Bird Emperor and rise up
And
themselves.
they certainly did.
𝗕𝗂𝗃 gets revenge for his teammate, but it is Buffalo in an absolutely dominant position. 7,000 gold ahead at 19.5 minutes. How do they lock this one out? What is their path to victory?
One more dragon in 3 minutes to Soul, into Baron, into just dive. They've Zhonya's now on Froggy. They can do Messiah whenever they want. They have the ultimate to reset when the dive gets too dangerous. 𝗕𝗂𝗧𝗧's ultimate, that is. And then, of course, 𝗲𝗲 with a style also firing in his ultimate. I feel like they can just dive recklessly, especially because Percent is still very far away from actually dealing damage. No one is dealing damage on their side, so who cares? If the turret deals damage, if nothing else deals damage, that shouldn't be a problem. So Saigon Buffalo, you have a very easy, clear way to victory where we just brute force fights under turrets and kill the turret and then the members, or the other way around. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's not going to be too hard, I imagine, for the Buffalo. They do still need to be scared of Glory. He is still frightening. He's 40 CS ahead of Froggy, has a kill. And he's still, of course, an Azir. He's behind in gold on Froggy, just to be clear. But he's still doing well independently. We've got to say the trend of VCS Orns is absolutely continuing, as 𝗬𝗏 has had an absolute clanger of a game. Oh, what? What are they doing?
Something weird popping up for me, so ignore my face, please. So, let's.
No, I was looking at the actual game. It was very strange.
I want to see how well Saigon Buffalo sets up vision around Dragon. Last Dragon was a little bit weird. They lost a lot of vision advantages there, but now they are so much further ahead, so they should actually be able to just brute force this Dragon as well. And it looks like Percent is not getting ready to contest. Will they fight for this soul, or will they try to risk everything for Elder Dragon later on? I feel like that's actually a play you can go for. Does the soul really change anything? You already are in such a big disadvantage in terms of damage. Of course, soul might push it over the line, but I feel like if you contest this soul, you lose anyway. So
I don't think they'll make that call. I think you might be right, but I don't think they can make that call 2 games in a row.
That's true. That's true.
They're getting reruns. Last game, it was an Infernal Soul as well. They're in a similar position, and the Infernal Soul absolutely did matter. They got ripped apart. They couldn't play for the Elder Drake. They ended up just having to surrender it. And I feel like %, they're moving into get some vision down. Drake is 20 seconds away. I feel like they'll think they have to fight for this. Whether or not they actually do, smarter minds need to think about that than mine.
And they're still missing so many power spikes. 𝗬𝗃 is still level 12, so no. Oh, Style.
He Style has been caught. The interrupt on the Lantern. This is the chance for %. Hin wants to fight this one. They want to take the 4v5. 𝗬𝗃 on the front line doing so much. Glory doing even more. And it's 2 kills taken away for free. And % have found very, very well-timed picks. This is Dragon for them. Soul has been denied.
So
Buffalo
they didn't really want to fight for the soul, but what they wanted to do is just pick off the enemies and get the dragon for free. And they delivered on that end. So 2 more kills. Obviously doesn't change much about the game, but buys them more time. So more time to go. We need 300 more CS for 𝗵𝗂𝗏, but every single minute is getting him closer to the 500 CS win condition on Sivir. At this time around, even though 𝗲𝗿 is super strong, of course it is. 𝗲𝗿 is super strong, but even he was afraid to dive into them. As we have 𝗏𝗏𝗏 on a pick against 𝗬𝗏𝗏.
Ooh. Yeah, but it is Lisa. Has the tether. In comes 𝗲𝗲𝗏, and there's the extra blast cone coming in clutch. Got the monkey close, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏 will take the kill. 𝗲𝗲𝗏, he's feeling himself. He's a happy, happy monkey. We love it.
And he still has Flash
it,
and Cyclone available. So he can really look to finish this game if he gets a good Cyclone on Glory, on 𝗵𝗂𝗏 here.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be all about Glory. And I think there's someone sitting in this call with his mic muted who's very unsurprised to hear me say that.
Yeah, he's
Baron
once again
now.
looking like the best member of %, but is it enough to stop Saigon Buffalo's onslaught? Looks like they are not even contesting this Baron. Instead, a good play for them to get a little bit of standing gold. A little bit more gold for Glory and 𝗏𝗏𝗏 in the mid lane. And also open up the map for the next dragon fight. Well, what can Saigon Buffalo achieve with this Baron? This is now the first opportunity to break an inhibitor, especially with their very strong dive. And don't forget, it actually gives you a lot of AD and AP as well. So team fights are going to be scary.
Yeah, there is, of course, still a lot of wave clear on the side of %. The Buffalo kind of have to find a fight. You can't passively siege against 𝗬𝗏𝗏. They will just clear waves all night long. So
Point here.
Where is the fight going to come? Are we going to see the new Infernal Soul blast cones being used to get 𝗲𝗏𝗏 a flank into the base? Because that's terrifying.
And we already saw
He's
the
a
new
Bork
buff.
Triforce.
Yeah,
He's got
so
Bork
scary.
Triforce.
And even the stopwatch to reset the fight. But last week we already saw the buffed movement speed from Cloud Soul, Cloud Rift, I should say, come into play, where we had the one very cool wraparound and fight a flank with the Cloud speed. But this time around, we might see a few cool blast cones. This change is very new. Change is still very new, so let's see who can make use of it. But I want to point out all the sheen items on the side of Saigon Buffalo. We have the Lich Bane, of course, for 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and the Trinity Force. So 1-3-1 is something they can play around. And we've seen only Cerberus so far has been able to play a clean 1-3-1 in the VCS. And Cerberus is probably the best team right now. So let's see if Saigon Buffalo can follow suit.
We'll have to find out. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is definitely making an attempt of it. No fear from 𝗬𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏. He does not care at all about them. Why would he? He's levels ahead. He's items ahead. He's a very scary Twisted Fate. Buffalo have rotated down towards the bot
the two of them. Look at the items. They have absolutely no damage. So he probably can dance on their noses for a few minutes and nothing happens. But 𝗲𝗿𝗏𝗏 finally gets a little bit of gold and a little bit done with this Baron buff. It's only one outer turret. Okay, they got the first, the mid, top lane outer turret as well. But base is not broken. That is the best news % has heard in a long time. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 16 now. doesn't really change much on this champion, to be honest. So he's probably just going to look for split push opportunities. And he might actually use the dragon coming up in 1 minute to break top lane inhibitor if you can see a chance. Or find a chance.
Yeah, it is possible. Of course, YT's teleport is nearly up, so he'll be able to match the Twisted Fate at the very least. We'll have to see what they do decide to
Dark
do.
technology coming in. Look at Froggy's itemization.
Ooh, here we go. He's gone into the lab and done some wicked alchemy. And I assume that's a rapid fire cannon.
Yeah, it's very likely to be a rapid fire cannon for long range stunts, which, do you need them in this comp? I'm not quite sure if he actually needs them, but we'll see what he can do. He already has a lot of AP and cooldown reduction, so he doesn't really need those stats anymore. And you will shred turrets anyway, especially also with
the long range stun's actually pretty valuable because it means he can throw it over the front line onto Glory or Style. Glory or 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃. He's not going to stun his own.
𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃 has a shield, so it's very easy for him to react, though. Once again, better positioning on the dragon for percent. And look at Wukong. Wukong is trying to get the inhibitor.
Yep. This is just the trade, but 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃, of course, will make an attempt. He doesn't get it. The dragon does go over to percent. They're going to take the team fight as well. Style gets pulled in, but there's the 𝗕𝗂𝗃 shuffle. 𝗲𝗲𝗄's arrived. It's Glory v 𝗲𝗲𝗄, as we all knew it would be. And 𝗲𝗲𝗄 has started off well. He's got one, but he goes down now. And now the rest of the Buffalo have to finish his work. Froggy charging forward. There's the flash. Glory cleanses it. The hook doesn't land, but 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃 going forward. He's dealing a lot of damage. He should be able to find Lisa with another hop. There it is. There's the slow, and bang, down goes Lisa. It's a 3 for 2, and the dragon to percent, delaying that soul even more. Very good effort for percent. Closer than we think.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from percent. They are playing from behind from a very bad position. They shouldn't have any right to win this game, but they are making the most of it, and they are target calling, once again, very good in team fights, something we praised them in the pre-show. They are one of the best teams when it comes to calling which are target to attack. They were able to kill 𝗲𝗃 very, very early on in the fight, and also got the dragon, of course. They lose top lane inhibitor, which is not great, considering Baron is spawning, but top lane inhibitor is the one you can kind of forgive, because you just push in top lane and contest Baron anyway. So what I want to see from Saigon now, let's look at the fight first. 𝗲𝗃 teleports from very far away, so he doesn't actually get the speed buff into the fight. Has to walk all the way. He loses a little bit of... Yeah, he loses a lot of agency by teleporting this far away, and this once again goes back to Saigon Buffalo not really showing us the best vision control around Dragon. All the time, every time it comes to Dragon, they are actually losing the vision battle from this far ahead in gold. That is a very bad sign. Of course, it's still an advantageous fight overall for Saigon Buffalo in terms of kills, so we can see them clear out some more of those, but yeah,
but if you are a percent, I know we have a lot of percent fans in our community. They've really inspired a lot. I've got a song for you. It's Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, because he is the entire hope of this team. So if you want percent to win, you better be singing that and hoping that Glory can get them over the line, or at least until 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃 gets another 300 or so farm.
Indeed.
Here we go.
There's another attempt.
Takes a lot of damage. 𝗲𝗃𝗄 is here. He goes into the spin. Can he stop the redirect of the Ornn Horn? He can, as that's interrupted. YT is still the target, but he's tanky. It's an Ornn at this point. 𝗲𝗃 super low. Will get healed up by the Redemption and the Kindred ult, but it's not that much of a heal. They can't be putting that much into YT. It's not worth it. He's an Ornn.
But now they have pressure in the top lane, and bot lane is pushing as well. So this might still result into Baron for Saigon Buffalo. They are definitely starting it now, and they have a lot of damage. It's double Blade of the Rune King ADCs against Baron. So the contest is here. No smite for 𝗃𝗃𝗃. No smite for 𝗃𝗃𝗃. He can't steal.
Nope. 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃 says it's just coming up. There's a TP from YT. They're going to back off the Baron. It's resetting, regenning back up to full. This is
they didn't know.
Real fight. 𝗲𝗃, they're going up onto 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃. Show us the top lane. As there's the speed boost, but they're not close enough. He just backs off with the wave. The teleport wasted. Buffalo pulled the trigger too early.
They didn't know. They didn't know about the smite. They would have definitely finished this Baron if they knew that 𝗃𝗃𝗃 had used the smite in fights, and not the perfect communication. A little bit unfortunate there, and now they've wasted 2 more minutes. They've once again not gotten the soul, so even Elder Dragon win condition is going to be later and later. Sivir has 3 items. Look at the items for Glory. He is getting really, really strong here. 3.5 items completed for him. A lot of stacks on his ring, which he now just sold, unfortunately. But another attempt on the Baron. They should be in time to contest, but of course the vision is there with the Twisted Fate. So let's see how this plays out.
Yep, we're going to have to find out. There's the Twisted Fate ult. He's moving. He's gone up towards the top lane. They don't want to fight this. Buffalo, they seem very scared. They want to catch Glory, I think. I don't think they'll take a fair fight where Glory has full agency.
On Baron, though.
Yeah, they're slowly taking it down. 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃 is actually taking a lot of damage. Hasn't got
is moving too
that
far
much
away.
lifesteal.
Percent.
Yeah, they absolutely are. It's only on 5,000 health. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 will not get there in time. This should be a Baron here for the Buffalo. It's taken away. The 𝗬𝗏𝗃 can't be redirected. 𝗲𝗲𝗄 once again doing it all with style. 𝗵𝗃𝗀 gets taken down. This could be it, as now they've got to just find a little bit more. 𝗕𝗂𝗃 drops the ult just to make sure can get a heal back up. And it's only 1 kill, but it's on the AD carry. Baron is secured. Dragon's about to spawn.
This will be the final nail in the coffin, most likely. I might eat my words later on if they manage to fumble this, but this is very likely to be the end of the game, because Baron into Infernal Soul, into at least 1 inhibitor as well. 𝗲𝗲𝗄 teleporting top as well to apply even more pressure and draw the map out. Now it's Infernal Soul as well. They can't get the inhibitor on this push, but they should be able to on the next one. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 also working with his turret shredding abilities on all the objectives. So this looks like the game will just end with all 3 inhibitors going down very shortly.
Yep, absolutely. The top one will actually respawn, so they don't have the triple inhib wave quite yet, but 𝗲𝗲𝗄 will make sure that they get it very, very soon. He gets zoned off, but it's gone down. 3 inhibs gone. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 moving forward, gets the stun onto Glory, burns the cleanse. It was a lot of damage. That Infernal Soul added a lot. And now they've just got to find their way on to the Nexus. The towers are falling.
Oh, look at 𝗲𝗲𝗄's damage on turrets. He just one-shot that thing.
It's insane.
Yeah, this is they can't really do much against all 3 waves approaching with Baron buff. With look at the map. There is a big wave of minions slowly closing the gap as well. Double super minions in every wave now for Saigon Buffalo. They just have to extend a little bit longer. There's the first super minion hitting the turret.
And the turrets are going down. This is the last fight. The 𝗏𝗏𝗏 has been blown. Glory is trying to get it all done. But Saigon Buffalo bounce back after a week of doubt, a week of worry, and they take down Percent in a 2-0. And 𝗲𝗲𝗄, my man, you are glorious.
This time around, the glory does not go to Percent. They were stomped this series, and no one could change that. Saigon Buffalo, after getting to the finals of Pulsefire Cup, definitely are here to win the title. They don't want to play around with some of the newer teams. They want to contest GAM, they want to contest Flash and EVOS. They are here to stamp their mark on the VCS.
Absolutely. But let's go. We have Vinnie. Welcome back. What did you think about the game? Did you enjoy it?
I never want to see YT play on again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He managed to recast 1 Ornn.
Yeah.
That was terrible. And I mean, we knew going in this draft was not set up to win. And holy crap, Glory almost made it look like it could work.
Yep.
That's not what I took away from that.
Part. Glory
That's what I took away from that.
Your favorite player here. Yeah, he looked great.
Also,
I feel like 𝗵𝗃𝗃 actually played the mid game quite good as well.
𝗵𝗃𝗃 did.
He actually knew how to avoid getting caught.
Until that last fight where he got caught. And then from there, it was like, oh, that's over. Game's over now. There was no way, because that meant easy Baron, easy Soul. And then, easy end of the game.
Yep. So, the Buffalo, they fight back after a dodgy week 1. I think they actually looked like a pretty good team. But let's pick an MVP for game game 2?
Glory.
Is there much of a debate? Is there much of a debate? It's YT.
It's actually
It's
YT.
It's 𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗃 because that draft, holy moly.
yeah. Yeah, no, but it's
Complicated.
obviously 𝗲𝗻𝗄.
Holy
Yes,
swear
of
words.
course,
God
it's
damn.
𝗲𝗻𝗄.
It's got to be. It's 𝗲𝗻𝗄. 𝗲𝗻𝗄 will also be getting player of the series.
For
When
sure.
the Saigon Buffalo look good, it's almost always with 𝗲𝗻𝗄 looking amazing as well. I think there's going to be a lot of times where Buffalo win a series and 𝗲𝗻𝗄 gets player of the series. Those two things are generally pretty linked. But go ahead.
I think we need to shout out 𝗏𝗏 as well, though. He
I agree.
was a little bit bad. It was definitely not looking great in the first week, where he fell down ATCS again to his lane opponent, PhD. But today he played a very solid series, and up against 𝗏𝗏 in the lane, he lost a little bit of CS. He was definitely behind in CS, I should say, but he made a lot of stuff happen on the map. First game, he looked incredible on Nika, and this game, he just roamed around, applied a lot of pressure, and was just super annoying on TF. Also buying a lot of time and space for 𝗲𝗻𝗄 to make his flanks work. So I feel like the combination of 𝗏𝗏 and 𝗲𝗻𝗄 is actually growing into a very, very strong asset for Team Saigon Buffalo.
I also think it's worth mentioning that the 𝗲𝗲𝗄 didn't actually end up playing that big a role.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it was kind of, you could have replaced that with nearly any other AD carry and it would have had much the same thing. 𝗏 was
He basically
often,
was there to kill objectives. That was
yeah,
his
he was
sole
there to
purpose.
kill objectives and to draw Glory's ire because Glory picked him out of the fight quite a few times. And yeah, so the 𝗲𝗲𝗄 wasn't apparently as big as a mistake as we thought. It was just 𝗲𝗻𝗄 getting Wukong.
Everything else was a bit of a mistake.
Everything else was a mistake, but
Seems like you have to ban the Wukong now. Looking incredible today on 2 games on Wukong. And
I mean, how many bans does 𝗲𝗻𝗄 need at this point? Like, you ban his Wukong, doesn't he just pick Akali?
Probably.
I think
He is-
Akali is a lot more counterpickable though.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
I feel like Akali can be controlled as well in the early game, which he
Yeah.
doesn't really do that much. And Wukong is easier to set up, and he's easier to push on the wave with. So I feel like you should definitely start to ban the Wukong away.
And if you do manage to get Akali behind, she's behind. Whereas Wukong, even at his worst base state, has a double Cyclone ultimate.
That's
It's
fair.
true.
So
Also, the
But-
2 player of the series today were top laners. So now we are all just waiting for the Saigon Buffaloes to meet up with 𝗲𝗻𝗄 for 𝗬𝗲𝗄 against 𝗲𝗻𝗄, the ultimate top lane
That
battle.
is genuinely ridiculously hype. That is
Oh, yeah.
insanely hype.
Yeah.
no 𝗲𝗻𝗄 for Heroes. What?
Yeah, I mean, if you like 𝗲𝗻𝗄, that'll be a great one to watch. But for this, boys, I will thank the both of you for being here. This is the end of us tonight. It was a good night, a very, very fun day of
Stompy,
games.
but still cool games.
Yeah, stompy, but I had a lot of fun. The Buffalo certainly looked great, and 𝗲𝗻𝗄 definitely righted the ship after a weird week 1. But thank you, everyone, for watching. If you do go look down below the stream, there are a bunch of buttons and panels that look really nice. Thank you to our design team for fixing those up. They were really scuffed last split. But you should join the Discord server.
Sorry.
You should follow us on Twitter. There's a Facebook page if you still use Facebook. And, of course, you could support us with a donation if you want to. And we do appreciate it, but never any pressure.
And there's
But we'll be
occasional
back
bird.
tomorrow. Hey, there's a bird on camera right now, actually. Got him going. But that is it for us tonight. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow to bring you even more VCS action. We thank you for being here. Do come join the community and give us some feedback. But we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Night.